Building is a common and essential mechanic if you guys want to win. You use it for combat, high ground, and defenses. So what happens when you can't build? Can you win at Fortnite without it? I mean, perhaps you want to challenge yourself, or maybe you simply just run out of mats and need a good strategy. Whatever your reason is, let's find out what our limits are and what we can get away with. Alright guys, so Chapter 3 has been around for 8 months now, and since its arrival, we've been introduced to sliding, sprinting, and mantling. Alright, so these 3 mechanics weren't around for Chapter 2, so when they started to really trickle in with each new season, it was just something for players to figure out how to use in competitive. You know, each one offers something new, such as avoiding enemy fire, and speeding up for longer jumps, and climbing over obstacles. This was a great temporary substitute for not being able to use builds. Meanwhile, in playlists where building was enabled, it opened the door for brand new strategies and options during gameplay. Okay, so your slide should always be used to get the jump on opponents. Say you crack someone's shield and you have the high ground. Use your slide to speed on down the hill and just close the gap between you and your opponent. Put the pressure on, man. You know, get the elimination. If you redeploy, just holding down the slide button before touching the ground is a great way of using the momentum to zip by and land a few shots before they even know it hit him. Just watch how Mongrel uses slides to his advantage. So my boy Mongrel just doesn't wait once he cracks that shield. He uses sliding to get close quickly, and even though he manages to eliminate his opponent before he makes the jump, you just see how the rest of the fight would have gone down. Mongrel used the momentum to jump over his opponent's wall. Had his opponent survived, I mean, he would have had seconds to react. This is just a good example of not wasting builds when you don't need to, which is why these mechanics are very useful for mat conservation. Alright, so sprinting and mantling are best used together. Use it to cover large distances, especially if you guys want to get on top of someone else's build or just scale the side of a house. Building a ramp was usually the go-to when it comes to doing this, but you know, leaving behind a ramp pretty much just lets your opponent know that you just went up there. Use your mantling when you can so you don't leave behind a trail, especially if somebody is just trying to spot enemies from afar and they see your build in the process of going up. This is just going to set their alarms off. You know, knowing how to win without building is a good stepping stone towards mastering Fortnite. Soon you're going to be able to turn the tables around no matter what situation you get yourself into. So let's just push it to the next level, shall we? Click on the link below, visit ProGuides.com, and find out how you can learn the newest tactics, the greatest fighting skills, and the landing strategies that the pros use to win tournaments, man. It all starts here. You know, eliminations are an essential part of Battle Royale, and victory requires you to take down the last enemy. Unless, of course, your final opponent gets clumsy and falls to their death. So whether you're trying to win without building or, you know, you find yourself running out of mats, knowing how to optimally handle the situation is just going to help you guys out a lot. If you want any chance of winning without building, then there are 2 skills that you're going to want to master. This is long-range combat and how to bring players down to ground level. All right, so since build fighting and piece control are out of the question, you guys want to make sure that you have as much distance from your opponent as possible. If your opponent gets a chance to box you in, then this can mean trouble for you. So instead, you want to make sure that you have time to react to anything they might put down. This is also a great strategy for playing on high ping because it compensates for the input delay and it gives you more time to pull off your strategy without getting overwhelmed. So you also need to learn more about stealthy, all right? Charging at an opponent is not good, but they're going to see you coming a mile away. This is why you need to creep up on them and just use natural cover. All right, so your first shot is the most important one, right? If you can land a decent hit on your opponent, then you can crack shields easily, and this puts you at an advantage. If possible, once their shields are cracked, this is the moment where you should get closer. Or they're gonna want to heal, so it's your job to not give them a chance to do so. If they try to box up, then consider using an SMG to just break through the build. Most SMGs at the moment eat through builds like butter, and if your opponent's shield is already gone, then it's only a matter of time, you know, before you can just eliminate them. All right, but be careful though. Most players box up using wood, but there's always a chance that they're gonna box up with stone or steel. While this isn't always optimal for them, I mean, you can't rule it out either. Don't fall for your opponent's tricks, I'm telling you right now. Also, don't let them bait you into coming closer when you don't need to. Instead, keep a level head and just make them follow your lead. All right, guys, so now for the question of the day. What's the craziest challenge you've ever tried in Fortnite? Leave your answers in the comment section below. Alright guys, so next we want to talk about high ground. You know, it's important for any Fortnite player to be able to perform a good retake so they can get a better strategic position. You know, it's also important to use builds to stop your opponent from making progress. However, there is more than one way to take the high ground, which doesn't always involve building, especially during the end game when you need to be quick on your feet. Alright guys, so the key to success is knowing the meta and getting to know every nook and cranny on the map as well. In terms of items, we currently have the grappling hooks, portable rifts, shockwave grenades to give you guys a boost upwards. But, you know, during competitive metas, you don't always have these options since there's always a chance items will get vaulted. So keep updated on the list and, just know your options. Umbrellas, tires, zip lines, and launch pads will also give you guys the airtime you need to start mantling over buildings or just changing your position suddenly. All right, guys, so the real challenge is dealing with in-game scenarios. Here, only those who build stand a chance since the zone is going to be moving and the odds of having natural objects to bounce on is going to be minimal. If you don't have any mats, the best thing that you can do to survive is just, find a refresh kill as soon as possible. This is going to get you back on track, I'm telling you right now. So just try to go for players underneath you, but if that's not an option, just find a way to move up using the mantling technique. If all else fails, or just see if you can find some spots where builds are being kept up by a single piece. You can destroy these to clear away the area and just bring down a few players in the process. Just make sure that you're ready for when they drop. All right, guys, so now comes the question, can you win without building? Well, definitely. All right, so, though it gets increasingly harder depending on your playlist, obviously, nobody is building in the no-build game modes. That's a given. So with everyone on the same playing field, the most you have to worry about is just dodging bullets. Meanwhile, in pubs, things are a bit different. Other players are gonna build, and while that might make things slightly more difficult, it's completely manageable to spend the entire game not building, especially since pubs rarely result in a stacked endgame. At most, you might run into, some players that aren't good at building and have a few that are here to stump pubs. You also have the benefit of a wider loot pool. So let's just say that you need to deploy items such as the shockwave grenade or use a grappling hook. You can do so to get the high ground without placing down a single build. The real problem is arena and competitive format. You're not going to be dealing with the average Fortnite player, and the loot pool gives you less options depending on the season. Mantling can definitely get you guys towards the high ground and position correctly. However, this isn't always guaranteed. In these close quarter situations, you're gonna be caught dead trying to ambush a more advanced player without building. It's improbable that you're going to win any high-ranked games without building, especially tournaments or catch cups. However, if you somehow pull it off, you're destined to become legendary because of it. And so, is this really worth the risk if you manage to qualify? Probably not, but who knows? Maybe someday somebody's gonna be crazy enough to try it. Before we wrap things up for today, don't forget to check out ProGuides.com for pro-level coaching. You are guaranteed to improve no matter what skill level you enter with. Yo, Bunch of Grits Army, it's your boy, Keith Allen. Make sure you connect with my Instagram at Your Motivation Guy. Yes, that's gonna be it for today's video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you do, man, I'm telling you right now, you're gonna love what we have coming out. Also, feel free to leave a comment. Let us know what you guys would be most interested in learning more about. We love to hear from you. So remember, if you end up in a bad situation, you always have a chance to flip things around as long as you know how. So you gotta keep your grind on, stay focused, and man, let's just reach our dreams. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.